Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my February wrap-up video and my March TBR. I'm a little late with the February wrap-up, but that's okay because I didn't even read many books in February, so I decided to mash the two together and that way we'll have an even longer video. So without further ado, here are the books that I read in February. So the first book that I read in February is American Panda by Gloria Chao. I think this one is a new February release, but this was also our Diversify the Verse book of the month for the month of February. And I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars, which of course doesn't sound like a good rating, but I really did enjoy it. I loved it for its representation, for the main character who I really loved. But other than that, the plot just fell a little bit short to me and the writing was just not my favorite, which is why I gave it a 3.5. But I mean, it was a good story. Like, I loved the representation, how she incorporated it into this really realistic story. And yeah, I would just recommend this. If you guys want to see our live show, I will leave that link down below. The next book I have here is To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. This book is basically a dark Little Mermaid spin-off fairy tale kind of story. I would say definitely read this book if, I know every time we introduce it as a mermaid YA story, everyone's like, what? Because there are just so many like mediocre mermaid YA stories out there. You guys know which ones I'm talking about. And I feel like it's taking away the popularity for this book because this book deserves so much attention. I just recently read it. I'm actually audiobooking it now because I loved it so much, and the audiobook is amazing. Let me just tell you, the voice actors are amazing, and Lyra's voice actor, she just emulates her dark and very scary kind of demeanor, so I really enjoyed it. And this one I gave a 4.5 out of 5 stars. The only reason I took off 0.5 is because I'm gonna put in a trigger warning for physical and verbal abuse. So if you guys are triggered by physical or verbal abuse, I would probably stay away from this one or just be cautious because there's a lot of that in there and it's very intense. But other than that, it was a really unique read. Definitely different from a lot of the mermaid YAs I've read before because I have read a lot. And just overall, it just blew my expectations out of the water. The next book I have here is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi, Adeyemi. And this one, of course, you guys have probably heard about. This has been on the rave for the past few months. And I received this arc probably like late last year, late 2017, but early this year. And I didn't read it. I didn't read it until like a week before, or probably 2 weeks before this book released. And I really regret that. I wish I had read it earlier so I was able to create more hype for it, more buzz, write an earlier review. If you would like to read my blog tour post, I will link that down below as well. Basically, this book is just amazing. It's probably one of my favorite books of this entire year. I think it's very unique. It basically incorporates West African mythology into Tomi's own story about magic and her kind of spin on racism and how hate towards a certain group of people can incite anger and can just make everything really muddled, and we don't see these people for who they really are. And I really enjoyed it. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars, obviously. A lot of complaints that I saw in other people's reviews was that it was way too long and that it took away from the story, but I think 500 pages was perfect for this book. This book is about 500 pages and I absolutely thought it was perfect. I really loved the length. I loved the pacing of it. It was very consistent throughout the entire story despite it being super long. So I would totally recommend this one. Definitely you have to check out. It's one of those books kind of like The Hate You Give where like you have to read this year because it's just amazing. Okay, and these next few books are books that I want to read in the month of March. So the first book that I have here is The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X.R. Pan. This is the book that I'm currently reading. I'm about 1/3 of the way through, probably 1/4 of the way through, and I'm really enjoying it. I actually picked it up earlier this month, or actually earlier in February, and I didn't really enjoy it, so I put it down. But then I picked it back up and I really got into it. I think you just have to go into it a lot. Like, you have to go in not really expecting anything. It's kind of slow, especially compared to the last 2 books that I read, which were fantasy books, so I shouldn't have been expecting anything like really fast. But this one's very slow. It's a contemporary novel. It basically follows our main character. I forgot, her name's Lei, and basically her mother commits suicide, and this story follows kind of the day of and then like the events that happen after. She basically travels to Taiwan to meet with her mom's mom, her grandparents actually, that she's never met before, and she finds that there's like this whole other part of her world that she wasn't aware of because her mom tried to keep it a secret from her. So overall, this is just a contemporary book. It's going to talk about grief, it's going to talk about loss, it's going to be very very sad. It's already very sad, so just know that going into it. But I just think it's beautiful. The writing is so beautiful. She describes her emotions by color. I'm not going to talk about it anymore because I'm spoiling stuff, but just pick up this book. The next book I want to read is Nothing Left to Burn by Heather Ezell. This one I picked up like right after I picked up that book, and I did not enjoy it, so I put it down immediately because I just wanted to get reading more. I've been really slowing down with reading lately, so I just want to be able to pick up a book, finish it, go on to the next one, review it, rave about it, but I don't want to be stuck on one book for too long, and I was taking too long to read this book. This book basically follows a girl, and I forgot her name, but she basically is experiencing this wildfire, like she's in the midst of a wildfire that's kind of consuming her community, and I just got really interested in this book because it's very relevant. I mean, we're having wildfires, natural disasters like crazy now. I just thought it'd be a good book to give insight into what it feels like to be in that situation. Really? What? Police cars? Okay, but as I was saying, the pacing was just very slow, the writing was just not for me, and the story itself didn't really capture me immediately, but I did like the topic that it was, the subject topic that it was talking about. So I definitely will pick up this book because I really want to read it, review it for you guys, and let you know what I thought, but other than that, hope to pick it up this month. Okay, this next book that I'm really excited for is Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. I'm reading a lot of Asian authors this month. I'm super excited. But this one, basically the reason I'm interested is because it follows a girl and a boy, I think, but mainly the girl is going to college and she's moving far away from home to go to college, and it specifically says in the synopsis that she didn't really have an eventful high school life. Like, her high school life was mediocre. It was just, she got okay grades, she had friends, she had a boyfriend, all that. But I just think it's very relatable to like what I am now, because like I have a okay average high school, nothing like too exciting, drama filled, and I'm moving far away for college as well, so I thought this would be a really good book to get insight on, to kind of, I love reading books about like characters that are very similar to me or are experiencing the same things. It just makes me feel a lot better and just makes me like kind of connect better. But also this one is supposed to be a college set YA, which I don't think I've ever read a book. Wait, no. I read Fangirl. That's the only book that I read, YA book that I read that was set in college, but this one is supposed to be set in college, so I'm super excited for that because I'm so excited for college. But yeah, other than that, I'm reading this book. And then the last book that I hope to get to, which I really think I will get to because, come on, it's short, is Why We Broke Up by Daniel Handler, art by Myra Kalman. And this one has just won so many awards. It's been getting so much hype from people. It's honestly very short. It's a mix of like a storytelling, and then there's some pictures on the pages. And what really caught me about this was that it's a book essentially about a girl giving this guy that she broke up with like a box of things that explain why they broke up. That's all I know about it, and that's all I want to know because it sounds amazing. But we're gonna see how it is, and I'm finally gonna read this book because I know a lot of people have and I still haven't. Okay guys, those are all the books that I read in February and all the books that I want to read in the month of March. Let me know down below what books you guys are thinking about reading in March, because I need some more recommendations if I happen to finish all of these, which is very unlikely. But yeah, let me know, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!